Hi, this is Randy. We've rebooted our openSUSE box. In our last video, we installed the VMware tools or OpenVM tools, and having done so, I now have a lot more flexibility with my screen resolution. And so here we are. We want to work off of our list and do a few more things. We want to take a look at how to do software updates, how to change the wallpaper, and how to work with static IP address, hostname gateway, and DNS server settings. So let's start with how do we just from a command line view our IP address configuration. So I'm going to open up terminal in super user mode. It'll prompt me to elevate, but it'll give me full authority or root privileges on the system. Okay, the red, I know it's small. The red indicates that it's kind of a warning to me to let me know that I am in super user authority here. The current command to take a look at IP configuration is wicked show all. I know some of these names they're maybe not what I would choose. It used to be that up until recently that we would do ifconfig, which is very familiar to Windows people who do ipconfig. You can still do ifconfig, but it's not installed by default. You have to install a package to get that. So here we can see that under our current configuration, we've got IPv4 for DH. We received an IPv4 release package from DHCP and an IPv6. I'll show you also that ping is good to go here. You can ping an IPv4 address and we're good to go. Different than Windows is that this will keep going, so I have to Control C to interrupt it. CLEAR to clear my screen. I can ping IPv6, ipv6.google.com. And again, also traceroute works. Okay, so I just wanted you to see that. So that's how we can from a command line take a look at our IP address, IPv4, IPv6, and do some basic IP troubleshooting tools. To work with setting those values, I went into YAST. I've already gone in here and given my password to Elevate. So here's our standard YAST interface. And for IP network card settings, we go to System and we go to Network Settings. We're going to see 4 tabs across the top, and we'll take a quick look at each of them. So on the first tab to the left is where we can enable or disable IPv6. Not everybody has IPv6 available, and so you could turn it off here. On the next tab, we get a listing of our network cards and also a little bit about them. If we highlight a network card, it'll tell us how it's currently configured and what it's named. This is how Linux names network cards. Ether, ETH is for Ether 0. The next one would be Ether 1. Wireless ones they're different. They're not ETH. Okay. If we want to change values with this card, we go to Edit, and I'll come back to that just in a minute. Moving down to the next tab, we've got where we can set the host name of the Linux box and also its primary domain suffix. We can also specify the name servers here. These would be the DNS servers that we're using for name resolution. Lastly, over here is where we set our default gateway. The default gateway for IPv4. One gotcha here is to be sure and specify that those values, what network card they're assigned to. We only have one, but you still have to specify. See, a lot of this stuff from a Windows perspective, we think, oh, this is clunky. Why doesn't it default to that? We just got to remember that Linux, the graphical environment for Linux, is an add-on. It's not the core of Linux. Linux itself does not need a graphical, and there are different graphical user interfaces that you can put on it, and they're less than perfect, but they really help people like us, people with a Windows background. They help us a tremendous amount to be able to work with Linux. To do stuff from the command line, like we've done in years past, you just have to have a lot of notes, a lot of references, and it's not nearly as easy as for us who have a Windows background. All right, so back to the network card. What we want to do here is assign IPv4 and IPv6, and if I go to Edit, there's a little bit of an oddity here, and I want to show that to you. So first of all, it shows me the radio button says, hey, we're currently dynamic. Okay, we want to do static. Often we do, especially if we're using this as a server, which is our goal. We go here to Add, And up here at the top we name it. ETH0, I'm going to say for 4 for IPv4. Here we would give it the IPv4 address, so on, and the mask, 255.255 and so on. Okay, no big deal there. It tells us that, so I'll cancel that. But the odd thing is that this is also where we set the IPv6 address, even though it says IPv4, and it's been this way for at least a couple years. And so here I would just call it like, ETH6. And then here I would put my IPv6 address, 2620 colon so-and-so colon so-and-so and all the way down. And then here I would put my /64 value. And when I would do that, when I'd OK those would both show up in the list here. And then I could go back to my command prompt and I could do that wicked show all and verify that those addresses had stuck. All right, so we've taken a look at that. We've got 2 more things to look at. And we're at 6 minutes. I better hurry. The next thing to look at is how do you do updates. And updates will get notified down here, which is very handy. I already initiated these. There was 4 updates pending. So this is great. If you want to go check yourself, the way that you check for updates is you come up here. And so you go into software and you go to online updates. And online updates is a little different of a display. It'll give us a list, and then some of them will be checked. It'll come up here in a second. Okay, there's a little bit of a conflict here because I'm already doing updates down here. So let me just describe it to you. What would happen is I'd get a list, and from the list I would then look at what's checked, and I would click accept, and it would walk through then downloading and installing those updates. Okay, I like this one down here because it's real straightforward. You didn't get to see all of it, but you're certainly, as you're installing your servers, you'll get to see it because it'll do it automatically if you have internet access. So I mentioned that internet access is pretty handy. I'm going to go ahead and close Yes this time. Lastly, as I just want to quickly show you how to change the wallpaper, and this is something that's always on my to-do list. As a trainer, I need a good background from which to work, when I'm doing videos or presentations, and we've got 2 of them here. This one displays a little bit better than the other one, but 2's not much. I can ask it to go online, and there's some really beautiful pictures and a lot of choices there. I'll just let you get a quick look here. The different categories. I don't know. Maybe there's hundreds here. There's quite a few. There's one here that, see if I can just show you quickly. That has this one here. It has a pretty basic background that I use for training, as a trainer. A cool thing, this is just coolness now, is to show you the picture of the day choice built in. We didn't install anything to get this. Let's see if we can just take a moment and pull up the National Geographic picture of the day. See if we can get that one. This is beautiful. Let me check this stuff out. And these will change each day. And so I don't know if you saw that or not, but we've got picture of the day from a bunch of different sources. So anyways, we're pushing 9 minutes here. I need to quit. So what we've done here is we installed VM tools. So one video to install openSUSE, another video just on getting VM tools installed. Good thing to do right away. This video is on the basics of getting it updated. How do you set static IP addresses and host name? We did wallpaper. We looked at updates. What else did we look at? That might have been it. So I'm going to wrap it up, and from here forward we'll be looking at specific videos on doing specific things. How to install it as a DNS server, how to install openSUSE as a DHCP, a web server, and as a file share server that will work in a Windows environment.